Welcome to Trail Manners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Aric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for Trail Manners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails, Aric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Welcome to the Trail Manners Podcast, episode number 38. Today, we will be talking with Mr. Brian Tolbert here at Park City Run Company in beautiful Park City, Utah. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The Trail Manners Podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Trail Manners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Trail Manners Podcast with Joel Hatch. We are back at Park City Run Company.
Yeah.
It's just like a home away from home here.
I think that's how Canice, said it to me in the message, because anytime you guys want to, come on up here.
Nice.
You can do shows. You're home away from home.
Well, now I don't know if there is one, but if there's a shower here, we'll just come up and run too.
Oh, yeah. I just need a little space in the corner to sleep, and we'll be good. It's so comfy here.
It is nice. And the coffee shop is always a plus.
Yeah, it is. And I think they have wine now on Thursday nights. Did you see that?
I did. That's a huge advantage. Of course, I'd need to have a room here.
Yeah. That's a long drive back to Ogden, a little tipsy, so we don't want to do that. So, yeah, we'll definitely be sleeping on the little leather chairs.
Well, Joel, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest for this episode, and we'll do some house cleaning and get started.
All right, so we kind of got this new series going where we are trying to highlight some of the local fast guys and gals. So last week we talked to the ambassador of fun, Steph Gardner, and this week we have another local guy, fast guy. Brian Tolbert is with us today. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
And we'll get a picture of Brian too, because he's rocking like a sweet stash.
Yeah,
so it kind of fits the mold.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I can't grow the beard.
You spotty guy.
I've just got the lip beard going on. That's all I got going on.
But that's a powerful lip beard.
It is.
You have to go strong with it. You really have to.
You're committed fully to it.
This, unfortunately, sometimes.
Yeah. So how's your wife think about that? What'd she think?
She
supportive?
It was like the Cold War for a while. Like we kind of was a standoff. Like I'm gonna stay with her. Who's gonna break first, and then I made the Christmas card.
Oh, man.
I'm like, you're sending a picture of this out to everybody? I'm in.
You're on fridges everywhere.
Yeah, and then made the second one. So I'm 2 Christmas cards into this. I'm like pretty much a mustache guy now.
Yeah.
You are.
That's me.
And not many people say that anymore, right? Because it's all about the beard. It's all about the ultra beard, the little ski town beard, right?
Yeah. I wish I could. I don't. It's pretty. It's pretty. I got like the neck beard going, really strong, but it doesn't really up higher. Doesn't really get you there. So
if you rocked the neck beard with the stash for a race, that would be pretty
just
sweet.
a full gap and just down. I would look. It's aggressive. That's an aggressive approach, but I think
you never know what you can start, because the whole new beard thing had to start somewhere. Like who decided, hey, this is the way we're headed?
It's a new stage.
And we're seeing mullets. Last year we started seeing mullets, Schlarb.
Yeah. Schlarb loves the mullet.
Yeah.
So but he pulls it off really well.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is it had to start with somebody.
Right.
And if we don't know what the neck beard's going to look like yet.
It could go strong.
It could.
I'm liking the stash, though.
Because
it's easier to maintain, right?
Yeah, the neck beard gets itchy. That's next. That's the first thing. I don't know. I don't think I could maybe go full-time neck beard.
No.
It's more we talked through.
It's kind of out.
That might be. I don't know if I can do it.
You'd have to be full-on creeper candy guy with the neck beard, right?
That'd be a little tough. I mean, I'm already the mustache guy. I drive a minivan. It's tough. It's a little creepy.
You don't need to tell me. That's how it works with the van drivers. You get a bad rap just because you have a van. Somewhere that went way south, and it's trying to recover.
You can't have candy. You can't. I mean, come on.
You can't have puppies and candy and tinted windows.
Lame. Not even a tiger or a dragon painted on the side. I mean, that's often looked down upon. What's that about?
We need to bring that back.
That's a whole new level.
Go something like a panther. That's kind of
our logo.
A panther.
Our new logo.
Or semi-nude girl on the hood,
well,
right?
Of course, right?
That's the mud flaps with the lady.
Yeah, she's lounging. Yeah, that's key.
She's waiting.
Mm-hmm.
that's a good intro right there.
That was solid. We broke the ice.
We did for sure. Because, the thing is, we have a lot of guests on our show. Some we're very familiar with. We've known for a long time. Some, we just face-to-face met Stephanie last week. This is our first interaction with Brian.
Yep.
Now you can kind of get a head start because we have social media.
Yep, we did a little stalking.
You can do the stalking.
Little
I'm telling you what,
Yeah.
I might go into the PI field because my skills are getting ridiculous
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
I looked them up on LinkedIn.
Yeah?
I went that far.
You went
Whoa,
that level?
LinkedIn.
Yeah, I had to.
We're going next level
Yeah.
now.
I don't
wow.
do that 'cause
Yeah.
it tells people.
Oh, you're the one view. I got the email.
Yep, that
I
was
got
me.
the email this week said somebody viewed you.
Yeah, that was me.
Wow. Misspelled a name or something. That's how they find you.
Yeah, no kidding.
So before we dive completely into this, we're going to just cover a few things, right?
Yep.
So first I'm going to cover, I just want to take a second and tell Joel thanks because we,
Yeah.
for those that follow us or check things out, we just covered our 100,000th download.
Right
Which for
on.
me, I'm a stat guy, and I tell Joel,
Right.
I'll send him a text. Okay, we're at 70,000, we're at 80,000, and we hit that last night. I was full on excited.
And my response usually is, "That's cool."
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I got,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Sure.
That's cool because I really don't know if that's a lot or a little.
Yeah,
to be
well,
honest,
I don't either, but it's a lot of like I look at it as money, right? So once you hit the 6-figure, that's when people say, "Oh, you make 6 figures," right?
okay.
There you
So
go.
that's pretty legit. And so I did some quick math with a calculator, and that's
course.
averaging 2,700 downloads per episode because we don't have a ton still. We're only at episode, this is 38, I think.
Right.
So that's pretty good.
That's
I
pretty
think.
solid.
I think so.
So if we can get to 200,000 by the end of the year, that'd be pretty good. I think.
Well, maybe this show will take us there, right? Brian, you got to
I got a lot
bring
of
your A game.
I got a lot of mustache followers. A lot of people are into that. So I mean, if you put some pictures of it, that's the tough part
Just
about
the stash,
podcasts.
right?
What if we do the photo and then do the silhouette up in the corner, right? The side angle, like old
yeah.
school stuff.
Oh, side angle too.
Oh, yeah, or it's creeping
No, I
out.
think it's really cool that we hit 100,000. That's pretty awesome. And every week we're getting like messages from people saying, "I love your show," which is it's a little bit weird still to me.
Yeah.
When I get those messages because I'm like, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. We get to hang out with cool people.
Cool
and
places, cool people.
You get these. I got a message this morning. Saying, "Hey, love your podcast. I'm new to trail running, and I'm really digging the Ogden area." And I'm like, "Right on."
Yeah.
And then we got that shout out from that guy on Instagram
Oh,
earlier
yeah.
in the week.
Yep.
He said something really nice, so that's so cool to see. And
Yeah.
just keep that coming, because that really does mean a lot to us.
And I'm super sensitive, so I'm waiting for the first negative one because that might break me down a bit. We might
He
skip
is
a
sensitive. I mean, I can care less, but
week. I like Joel's attitude. I
Yeah.
just can't get there.
Yeah.
It's okay. You'll get there, bud.
Yeah.
It's all right.
What else we got to cover real quick?
I don't know. What do we got to talk about? What's
Well,
coming up? What's going on?
I mean, there's a lot going on. By the time this episode airs, which is going to be Tuesday, Hard Rock's over.
Yep, and the contest will be
And
done.
the contest will be done. We've had some
Right.
people already jump in on that.
Right.
And we'll just say Jeff Browning's got the first vote for first American male.
He does.
And so the Hard Rock will be done. And I'm Hard Rock geeking right now.
Yeah,
Big
you are.
time.
He talked about that a lot on the whip, Park City Run Company today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's exciting.
It is.
I'm on the edge.
Yeah. Well,
Just
you
a
got
little bit.
all the cool photos. The cool people are in town. I mean,
Right.
Turtle Miller's there just hanging out in his van.
That's what Turtle does, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like he just creeps around in his van. Just
I think
like,
so.
Just watching. I thought I saw him drive past. Here.
He might have.
Like just like slowly.
Yeah.
The door opened. It was a little uncomfortable.
So, I mean, there's a lot of people there. So I'm kind of geeking on that right now for sure.
Yeah.
And then when you get up here in Park City, it's just beautiful.
Boy, is it ever.
And the mountains and everything.
It's a little cooler up here, which,
is always nice.
Eric and I both really like. And
Yeah.
let me tell you what, folks, this store is awesome.
Yeah. You got to make a trip up here if you haven't and you're around, or even if you're coming through.
Yeah, if you're driving through, stop in and say hi to these guys. They're awesome. They'll hook you up with whatever you need.
They've got it all.
Yeah, they got coffee. They've got wine on Thursday nights, I think. Food?
Yeah, we got scones.
Yeah.
And a bunch of the scones.
Yeah.
New Park City Running Company stuff too.
Oh, yeah, their gear
just
looks
got,
good.
The new gear just got here.
I'm leaving
Awesome.
with one of those orange shirts. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like running stuff.
You're going to get
Are you sure it's not
the
women's?
cutoff?
If it's women's, then it'll be snug.
Doesn't matter.
Look good.
man.
I mean, I think it look good on you.
He'll cut
Don't
it
get me
up.
wrong. I'm not afraid.
I might have to shave my back just so they don't poke through, but
You're going to cut it up like Wamsley? Just little cut ups?
Yeah,
That'd be
you'll be
kinda
ahead of the
fun.
curve. I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll shave my beard too. Just have my
Grow out
mustache.
the mullet.
Yes.
Yeah, no mullet.
No, you just have to perm it like Walmsley, so
Oh.
it looks real crinky.
Maybe I should find a picture because I had a back perm at one time.
You
No
did
joke.
not.
Whoa!
I totally
Shut
did.
the front door.
Yeah.
We need to see that.
If I could find one, it's like one of my old high school dance pictures.
Uh-huh.
And I had,
Oh, my gosh,
it was
yes.
feathered in the front to
Yes,
the
of
side.
course it
and
was.
I had permed back, and I had some big glasses. I don't know if they're prescription.
That's so hot.
Was it crinkly? Like, was it that hard perm? Like,
It started
real?
off that way, and then as it kind
Ooh.
of faded, I kind of looked like my golden doodle at the end. You know?
you
It
got
was
a little
kinda
sweaty
messy.
during the end of the dance. you
Yeah,
know?
just rocking out, man. Some erasure was cranking.
Oh my gosh, you're
You were bringing the heat, man.
I was the guy standing over there with the 1 foot on the wall, knee out, just hanging.
Just putting the vibe. You have to.
You got to.
Just
When you're rocking a
flip
permed
the
back,
hair.
Yep.
you just send it out.
I like it.
All right, we're getting way off here. We're taking me back.
We
you
are.
know.
So what else is coming up? What else is going on?
Well, I mean, there's a lot. You're midsummer, so you've got a lot of the big stuff coming up. You got El Vaquero coming up, which
we were
is
just
probably
talking about
sold out
that.
by now.
If not,
It's
just
a
give
couple
Ty a
spots.
shot. You know, he'll maybe hook you up, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, Ty.
Sometimes you have to cry.
Yeah.
That's how I got in last
Just
year.
tell him we sent you.
Yeah, or maybe not.
Yeah, but be prepared to pay a little extra.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I mean, you got races. As far as races go, Wasatch Bear here locally coming up.
Tushers.
Speed Goat just finished up. Tushers coming up, and there's a lot going on.
Beaverhead just finished up.
Yeah.
Boy, folks, you've seen those pictures from those
Yeah,
guys?
if you haven't, go to
Goodness.
the Beaverhead page. That's a gorgeous looking course.
Yeah, and I think they've done everything right. Those guys are just on it, just nailing it.
Yeah.
So, OR show's coming up.
Yeah, OR first right before El Vaquero that week before.
Yep.
And Joel and I will be down there, and we won't tell you who, but we got some solid interviews lined up.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for these.
Really, I'm already stalking.
Yeah.
Homework.
Oh man, homework galore right
I've got
now.
a portfolio put together.
Yeah,
you
I mean
know,
it's that
Whoa.
serious. That many people and
Color-coded.
those big names too.
Yeah,
it'll be cool.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. So,
Yeah, it's big time.
Yep.
yeah, we're having some good shows, and if you're here,
Seeing
for
some new
OR,
gear too. Excited about
yeah.
that.
And if you're here for OR and maybe you're not local from around our area and you want to be on the show, let us know. We'll schedule some time for
Yep.
you.
We got
do-
all day Thursday, folks.
Yeah, we'll
and
be-
Friday maybe before we go to the
before
Vaquero.
we head up. Yeah, or even if you're in town early. You know,
Yep.
some people come early to run and do some silliness. We're here. So yeah, without too much more, let's just jump into this thing. Right.
Right.
Let's talk to Brian.
All right.
We're sitting here staring right at him, so the heat's on now.
It is.
I'm a little intimidated right now.
So a little bit of your background. So you were a bike racer,
Yeah.
mountain bike.
Yep. Mainly mountain bike. Kind of did a little bit of everything. I did road. I raced BMX. I raced, a little bit.
BMX, right on. I like even more now.
Well, I picked up BMX as an old man. Like,
Did
we
you
were
really?
Like, we would go and race the night series. And they gave us our own old man category.
Yeah,
on our
they've
bikes.
got-
Oh, it's so much fun.
Oh,
It's like-
man,
it's
we're
like-
best buds now.
Oh, it was like $10, and you go at night on the winter series. Oh, it's so much fun. We just heckle. The
Were
kids make
you
fun of
riding?
us.
Were you riding like a standard size, or were you going 24 inches?
So
were
I
you going
went.
old
I
man
actually,
size?
I was. I raced 24 incher
Yeah.
and then I was on my dirt jumper.
Yeah.
All
Oh.
So it was a little. So I went full 26 incher.
Did you
then,
really?
Then they just started giving us our own mountain bike category because the gearing was so bad, and
Yeah.
little kids were passing us, and we didn't jump, and so it was exciting. But yeah, I've raced bikes since I was like 11 years old. Like,
Awesome.
So 20 plus years racing bikes around here, mainly mountain biking.
Right.
So
So you did that circuit for a while. Kind of were pro, semi-pro.
yeah, it's
Had a
like
little sponsor from Cool.
Yep, was with Cool for a long time, and then we actually ran the Cool team
Did you?
for 5 or 6 years. Great
Right.
guys, has had a great group, had a lot of fun.
So did you travel around the U.S. doing that? Did
Yeah.
you hit all the big up
Yeah, we hit the national series. We traveled around.
Sea Otter, all that
yep,
kind of stuff?
Did the Sea Otters juniors and did that and all the national series and chased those ones around, and it was fun. Like I was lucky. Like I just spent all summers traveling and
Right.
racing that way. So it was great. A lot of fun.
And I heard you did the single gear too.
Yeah, I dabbled in that a few times. I would go, when you race the same things all the time, I was like, I would get over it and get my butt kicked in the pro category. So I'd just go race single speed, and then it just kills you, man.
Right.
Holy cow, one gear on some of the stuff, and it would beat me up, and I'd only be able to make like a full season of it, and then it was like, all right, I got to go back to gears.
Right.
Anyways, but yeah, I was kind of milking out everything I could to kind of keep it fun, keep it exciting thing, and because it's the same stuff. I mean, I grew up in Heber and I grew up here, and so it's like I race the same races all the time.
Cyclocross?
Yes, I did cyclocross a bit. It's tough because, especially as I got a family, like because we started racing in March, April, training camps or early like that, and to race all the way through the fall, which is when cyclocross here, it's tough. Like, it's tough to get, like, my wife and kids got tired of every weekend races all the way clear through the fall, and as they got older. And then I coached the high school league. I coached the Wasatch team.
Right.
And so it made it tough to go do the cyclocross because those races are in the fall as well.
Right. So let's touch on that real quick. So how cool is it to see that mountain biking at the high school level has blown up here in Utah? Isn't it amazing?
It's unbelievable. I mean, I remember I remember growing up in Heber, and I was like the one weird kid in spandex. Like,
totally,
I mean, Heber was real. I mean, it's pretty rural now. Before then, it was like real rural.
Yeah.
And so to have it come now, and what was cool is that I actually rode bikes with the principal that's there now, and he's an old school cowboy.
Yeah.
Like old school, he was a wrestler and all this stuff. And like he pulled me aside before I even knew about the league and was like, "Listen, they're getting ready to launch this, and I want you to be involved, and I want you to take this up." He's like, because let's be honest, he says, I played football and I wrestled all through high school, and guess how long I've done that since then? I've never been on a football field, never been on a wrestling match since then.
Right.
He says, but I ride bikes. I'm a fat old man riding bikes every day. He says, we need that.
Yep.
And he says, our kids need it. And so he asked me to kind of help start it when the league started, and God, it was awesome. I mean, we had my team had 60 kids.
Yeah.
Out of Little Wasatch. We're a little 3A school, so it was a blast.
And it's like that for almost all the high schools. They have a team now, right?
It's crazy. They're gonna have to split the league, I heard.
That's so cool.
I mean, they're the biggest races. They have 1,000 kids kind of going over there, which it's
that's
crazy.
so cool.
Well, I was talking to somebody just within the last week about the high school because their kids race where we're at, and they said it's almost doubled just in last year to this year. And the year before, it almost doubled. Before that, it was well.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That's crazy.
It's the biggest series anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bigger than any pro series.
So what about, do you know how that we compare to maybe some of the other states that are around us, like Colorado or Idaho?
We were the biggest. So I've been away from it for 2 years. But when we launched, our league launched as the largest league.
Right.
In Colorado, California. California's been around for 15 years.
Right.
Their leagues and stuff. And we launched as the biggest league and the biggest launch ever. And I think we're the biggest league now.
That's so
in entirety.
Cool.
That's awesome.
It's
just
crazy.
getting the kids out on the trail like that. That's awesome.
Well, and a lot of them aren't school sponsored, right? They're like clubs, so kids kind of have to look for sponsorships, or the coaches do. It's not necessarily a school like a football program.
No, it's at the club level, and some club like our high school, they treat it like the rodeo club, and so you could actually letter in it,
right,
and do all that, so they had a lot of support. They didn't have the same insurance kind of stuff. That was the bigger thing. So they stayed at that club level, and the National League, the NICA League, helps with that and kind of governing and keeping it all together. But it's been awesome. The schools have really been supportive of it around here, and man, it's just growing. It's cool.
It
really
is.
Cool.
It's just great to get the family involved in that. And I know we're not talking about running right now, but I think it's just cool, right? To see so many families out there getting on the trails on the weekend like that.
Oh, yeah.
And you got the kids doing something, and I think that's been pushing for years, and it's not like a Pokemon Go thing getting out.
Oh my
it's like
gosh.
getting out,
they're actually getting out. Yeah,
and appreciating
they
what you're doing. And because I know where we're at in the Ogden area, a lot of the high school kids are working on trails. They do projects to help preserve them, help improve them, help take care of them. So it kind of helps them for that responsibility side, kind of take that ownership.
Builds a
of
stewardship kind of. That's a big thing that we pushed with them, is that you've got to be good people on the trail, right? Because part of it, you show up, like anybody who's down in Draper, when you go to try and run the Draper trails any night of the week, Corner Canyon, it's out. There's 6 different high schools that are training there, and it's nuts. But so when you're taking a group of kids, of 20 kids, you got to teach them to be good people on the trail,
good etiquette
and the trail etiquette and stuff, and being really, because otherwise it gives a really bad name when there's a big mob of kids running over people. It's real bad. That'll squash it.
School name on your back as
you're
going.
Exactly.
It's they are part of.
Yeah, exactly. We're hard to miss. So.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. So you did the mountain bike and the BMX thing and the single. and the cyclocross thing. So why did you transition then to trail running? How'd that happen?
It was a bit of an accident, honestly.
Bike broke down, had to run home.
Yeah, it was like that. Like
The kickstand fell off.
Exactly. Like I feel bad. Like I was that guy. So because I raced bikes so young, I never ran. I didn't run in high school. I didn't do like nothing. So I was that guy. Dude, I was making fun of running. Like all the time. I'm like, yeah, running's for criminals. Like, what are you doing? Like I was that guy. And we started, it started actually with my little brother. My little brother is a really good swimmer and a really good biker. He grew up racing bikes, and he's quite a bit younger than me. So I coached him through, he started taking up off-road triathlons.
Yeah.
The Xterra series and that kind of stuff. And so I coached him through that. He's a horrible runner, runs kind of like an Oompa Loompa. But we coached through that. And so I would start running with him a little bit and like that. And then once he got out of juniors, he had a really good junior career. I mean, went to 2 different world championships and was like 5th and 7th in the world.
Wow.
So he did really, really good. And so when he kind of grew out of juniors, he kind of was heckling me. He's like, you need to start running, like, or start doing triathlons. And so he's like, you're already kind of running a little bit. Do that a little more. I says, he'll teach me how to swim, which is scary.
Yeah.
That's important.
Real scary. Well, then he moved away. And so then I'm trying to learn how to swim by myself.
Right. Then you didn't have that pressure anymore, so you get out of that one.
No, So then I laid it out there because I'm stupid about goals and stupid about laying out so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go Xterra and I want to go to age group worlds.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know how to swim, guys.
That's open water swim.
Yeah.
Right?
Let alone swim in a pool.
Yeah.
I've never put my face down. Like I'm real good until you have to breathe.
Yeah.
Like
if you're like head up, just doing the
just
breaststroke,
full
you're
on,
awesome.
just like it's frenzy,
Getting
like
after it.
splashing
Took
water
another
all over.
Yeah.
I'm awesome. But as soon as you have to breathe, it's a mess. Yeah. So like I put the work in. I started running. I was like, you know what? I got the bike, so I'm going to focus on running a little bit more, and then swimming, like getting into the swimming. And so then I kind of worked through that. Did my first, I did a pool triathlon, like the icebreaker or something, and which is great because you do it in the pool and you kind of zigzag. Well, yeah, it was great. There was big traffic, so I actually ran in the pool. Didn't really actually swim. So I was just like literally just like walking and like getting past people in the lines and stuff. I was like, okay, well, so I was pretty bad in the swim there. But then I set the bike course record and had like the 3rd fastest run in the 5K. So because I just was like blowing out and won, and it was cool. So then I'm like, all right, I'm cool. I got my first Xterra World qualifier in Las Vegas. I've never been in open water ever.
Right.
Borrowed my little brother's wetsuit.
Right.
My family, we all went down. My wife and my dad and my mom and my sister and my little brother. They're all down there, Lake Las Vegas. So I'm like, just still, like, I totally think I'm fine. I'm like totally
hot stuff, right?
Confidence is not an issue with me. Gotcha. So we go in. It's opening the first morning. I go to jump in. I'm right up there in the first wave. Got my little cap on and got the wetsuit.
Got your rubber duckies.
Oh yeah. Go 2 like strokes, kicked in the face, suck a whole bunch of water, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden I'm in the middle of this lake, and I'm like, I've never been in open water. There's nowhere to save me, and these people are kicking me. I'll just go to a backstroke.
No.
I'm backstroking a mile. And like literally like people are over the top of me. Like second, because of course I started myself in the first wave because I'm like, of course. Yeah.
Where would you be?
Well, yeah. And so then the women like dunk me over the top of me. It's so bad. So it's a 2-lap course. By the time I'm on the 2nd lap, I'm the only guy out there. Well, I take it back. There were 2 other guys. One was 79. I'm not even lying. I wish this was
And
like
the other
a
guy
joke.
was fishing.
No, 79, and the other guy was 82. No, I had my own paddleboarder next to me the whole time. And, of course, I'm still backstroking.
Yeah.
And he just keeps, dude, you all right? No, really. Like,
really, dude,
are you all right? Like,
yeah.
I'm zigzagging. At one point, my family was on this point, and, like, I was zigzagging towards them, and they thought I was just going to quit. Like, they were, like, all prepared. Like, they kind of walked down the rocks. Like, and then I didn't even know it. Like, and then I zigzagged back the wrong way. And, like, it was, like, my dad's super supportive and been to, like, all my racing stuff, like, for years, right? And he's like, That was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen.
Son, you've shamed the family.
He's like, everybody left. Like, it was my mom walked away, my sister walked away. I think it was my wife and my dad, and they just sat there, and there was nobody else left. I come out of the water, and I'm like, I was all worried about where my bike was going to be. My bike was the only one left.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it
I'm
right
like,
there.
oh, found it.
Yep.
I'm just like, it was so embarrassing.
So were you able to make up some time, though?
Yeah, so then I just dumped it. Like, I was just buried myself in the bike, buried myself in the run. I came in 6th in my age group or something like
Right.
that, which
Wow.
which was good, but it was
there was only 6 people in the age group.
yeah, exactly, right? No, it was pretty embarrassing, and I actually ended up qualifying for Worlds off
Did
of that
ya?
because 2 guys ended up not, and they took the top 4 anyway. But I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't go off
Right.
of that. Like, that's horrible. I've not been in the water since.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I just need to suck this up. I'm usually pretty stubborn, but maybe swimming's not my thing. So then I had my season was kind of weird. Like, cycling season was like, oh, well, I'm not really doing that. I don't know what I'm doing. So I started running more. I did, let's see, what did I do? Oh, the year before I'd done Bear Gutsman.
Okay. Yeah, that's a hard race.
Yeah,
Right.
that was just one of those ones that was like kind of a bet. My neighbor, like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, you try and run, and why don't you come do that? It was awesome. I led to the top,
Right.
led down the back to within a mile, and then that kid from Davis ran me down, and he was like 14 at the time.
Yeah.
And it was not. I was running as hard as I could, and he
Just
came past me running
a
like
little gazelle, right?
yeah, like a 4:15 mile down
Yeah.
this dirt road, and I was like, no, there's no way.
That's
my
when
legs don't move.
when that old veteran and you should come out and you
Yeah.
just straight up trip them.
Yeah, just sweep the leg.
Yeah, just take that.
Just
Disrespect
throw
him.
an elbow. I was
Yeah.
trying to be the nice. I mean,
Right.
new to running. I didn't want to like check the kid off the road, but so yeah. So I just started picking up some run stuff after that, and like I had some early success. I think I did my first ultra was probably, I guess, the 50K
Antelope Island.
Antelope Island. Yeah.
Fourth overall.
Yeah, and I was like, what the? I had no idea.
I'm good or they suck.
I had no idea what was going to happen there.
And that was a fast time. That was a 4-hour.
4:18.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fast.
I was totally blown away by it, honestly. Like, that one I was like,
So that was in 2013 when you did
Yeah.
your first.
yeah. So 2013, I did Bear Gutsman before that, and then I did Bear Gutsman the next year as well. And then, God, I don't know what else did you got my sheet.
I got your
can't
sheet.
read
I
it.
got
we
your
got the
results right
notes.
here. So
Yeah.
I mean, you do your first ultra, and then what's your thoughts when you
50K.
finish it, right? Or you're
Wasn't as bad as I thought.
okay, I'm kind of
Yeah.
digging this.
I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, that Antelope Island, like, it was really cool, like, because it's the fall course.
Yeah.
It was the fall course, so you get to go on the south end of the island.
The backside.
You
On
get
the
to go on the
backside, what's all
backside.
cool.
Yep.
Oh, but then it's like 10 miles on that flat road
on the front side,
coming around, and it's like you have to actually run.
you got to run.
Yeah, like not just like scrambling the sand and the rocks and kind of be ugly about it. Like, you had to run, and it was killing me.
Right.
I was bored. It hurt. I didn't know what to do. Like, I was pretty close up in front. I lost I lost several places right there, and then had to
Right.
gut it out, and it was ugly. But, yeah, I thought, well, it wasn't bad. I mean, so then I was like, maybe if I do another one, like, more technical, like
Okay.
less running, right?
Right.
Like, because I'm not really good at that running
So
part.
looks like your next one was Tim Trail Marathon.
Yeah. So that was the next.
So that was the next spring.
Yeah. So next spring. So I have a good friend of mine he's a runner, and he got into those, and he's raced a bunch of the 50 milers, 50Ks around here, and done pretty well. And so he talked me into we were going to go do that one together, and it was
Right.
close. It's close to home, and at that point I was still kind of holding like, oh, I'm going to maybe race some bikes still too.
Right.
Like, I was still dabbling a little bit, and it's great. Like, that course has a bunch of climbing.
Yeah, it does.
Technical. Did you guys
Oh,
do
yeah.
it this year?
We did
Yeah,
this
it's
year.
a
Yeah.
pretty
in
course.
the cold.
It was cold.
Yeah.
That was miserable. The first year I did it was like that, and it was
Yeah.
like kind of like it was good. It was sloppy, but that was the year like all those BYU. There was a bunch of BYU guys like Lars
Oh.
and I think the Dorez brothers were both
Right.
there. They went off the front. And I was like, holy cow! These guys
Well, you can
are
run
real.
fast. That first like 10, 12
That
miles.
first
you-
climb, and then you get that shoreline trail all the way around. And those guys were nuking, and so we
Yeah.
were hanging like 7th, 8th,
Right.
and I was like, all right, cool. And I was with me, and then that big climb
And the first
came. I got
grind.
dropped,
Yep.
and I was still top 10, and I landed. I was was running a pair of like minimalist type shoe type thing, and that there's all those baby heads on that thing. And
on that downhill.
I landed with like the coming out of the last feed zone, that last big downhill. It's like still like 6-7 miles.
Yep.
I landed on my foot and just like bruised the bottom of my foot bad enough that like I couldn't run anymore. Like couldn't.
Right.
I had to walk it out.
Oh, you still placed pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, your time was still super good.
4:48.
Yeah, 4:48. That's not bad.
It was pretty frustrating, though. I'm not going to lie. I was like watching just these people, and I couldn't get them. And then you get down, and there's that service road out to the finish. I'm like, this thing just needs to end.
Yeah.
I'm so
You're
done.
so done.
And you can see it.
You can see the
like,
finish.
I can hear him. I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
I want to go home.
Oh,
So-
I have that experience every race.
Yeah.
Like, God, this
Yeah.
is dumb.
This is what
I'm
am I
never going
doing?
to do this again.
I do that just at my house. I have to move the fridge closer somewhere because I'm like,
Yeah.
this is dumb. Why don't I take 10 steps to grab that?
Yeah.
You just need more kids. That's what I got, dude. I was like, my kids are big enough. I'm like, hey, can you go get me that? Come on. There you go.
Just got to train my dog better.
Yeah.
There you go.
So then that one was kind of, but it's still, I got a taste. Like I
Right.
was like, maybe I can do these.
Right.
Like maybe like I was close enough. I'm like, I know what went wrong.
Right.
So
You wore those wrong shoes.
yeah, wrong shoes, and figured out that. So I kind of dabbled, and then still was racing a bit of bikes.
Right.
At that point, I can't remember. I can't remember if I raced in the fall
Yeah.
after that.
El Vaquero?
We did.
Oh
Vaquero
yeah, I
that
did go
year.
to Vaquero. Yes.
You did pretty good.
Yeah,
there.
you did
got
well there.
eighth place that time.
Vaquero was fun. So that one was fun. I learned a lot again. This was like,
That's
I would-
2014 still.
I had a bunch of, my early races were all about like
Learning.
a bunch of fitness and no smarts. At zero smarts. I had way more fitness than smarts from cycling, and like I was still thinking that I was fueling like it was a cycling race.
Oh,
I
okay.
was my tactics were very cycling centric.
Right.
That one I learned a lot. I raced with, went out, of course, Luke went off the front because
Of
that's what
course.
Luke does.
Yeah. Carrying his 40
freaking Luke
pound
Nelson.
pack.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the year he was carrying the big backpack, the
Yeah.
UTMB backpack.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, good, great. He looks like he's going on to the Uintas for
He's
just
going to the winds
with
for
the Boy
a
Scouts.
week. Yeah.
No big deal. But so yeah, he took off the front. But then I settled in with Tom Deigel.
Okay.
Oh, local guy,
Yep.
dude. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Tom's old, but he's gnarly.
He's fast.
And so we just plugged along, and Tom's great. Tom actually had been part of. I kind of gravitated him because he was wearing a cycling jersey. He was wearing a cool jersey,
Right.
and I was like, "Do I know you?" Like I'm sitting at the start, I'm
Instant
like,
connection,
right?
right?
should I know you? Because I was
Yeah.
the team manager at the
Right.
time. I'm like, oh, okay. So we connected the dots, and Tom's a bit of a character, and so we were out front. Luke was out front, and then it was just Tom and I all the way to the back, and we barely missed the turnaround to get in front of the 25 Ks.
Right.
But we went into the feed zone, and
Feed zone.
feed zone. Sorry, yeah, feed zone. See, I'm still a cyclist. That one I was really like, I don't trust feed zones, aid stations. Sorry.
Right. Why not?
I don't. It's a cycling thing. Like I don't know, like endurance racing and cycling. Like I just learned to just take my own stuff. Like I carry
Okay.
my pack, and I just have all my stuff, and I
Right.
don't mess around. If I got to fill up with water, great. But like food wise, I don't mess with it.
Okay.
And I remember pulling in there, you go to the table at the aid station, and Tom dives in, and he's like, come on, they got pie.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
had pumpkin pie, and I'm like, no, man, I'm not eating pie. What are you talking about, Tom? Like, I'm not eating pie.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
we're
good.
racing. Like, so I'm like, I leave him. I'm like, I do that move. Like, I dump him in the thing, and he's like, you should have some pie.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I got this gel.
I got this gel.
Yeah.
He's macking on pie
Big
with
mistake.
cream. Yeah.
Big mistake, because like, not more than a mile, 2 miles. Tom comes past me. Should have had that pie.
Yeah.
Burping
Just
pumpkin
come.
pie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, just eating. Had like still double fisting pie. I'm like,
Yeah.
just dump, and I'm dying, and that's that long climb. What,
Yep.
like what? It's like 6, 7,
6, 7
10
miles.
miles of just long, grindy climb that I hadn't really. And I'm sure I kind of overcooked it going the
Going
other
down,
way,
yep.
and should have learned. So, yeah, I think I faded to like 7th, 8th, somewhere in there, and it was okay. I learned a lot. Like maybe I should take food from the feed zones.
Right.
Maybe
Aid stations.
take aid stations.
Aid stations.
Aid stations. Sorry.
Well,
Still-
that was
2014.
2014, 8th overall, 6:07, and you ran it a year later,
yeah.
right? And you were at 5:27. So
Yeah.
you cut 40 minutes in a year.
Yeah.
And ended up, 3rd overall.
Was it because of the pumpkin pie? Did you have the pumpkin pie the next year?
You trained with pumpkin pie.
I did have a little pumpkin pie. I did. I didn't really want any.
Yeah.
And
that's
Luke
good,
was yelling
isn't it?
at me because Luke was just sporting that year.
Right.
And it was, that one was weird because I had raced so fast forward after the pumpkin pie incident So then I kind of moved through the fall. I raced still a few more races.
North Face 50K.
Yeah, did North Face 50K. That one was pretty cool. Like lining up with like Timmy Olsen.
Yeah.
Guys rad. Like just watching what those guys are doing.
And that was you ran that fast, 5 hours?
Yeah, it was pretty good. And that was a pretty tough one. It was cool, and it was cool because those are trails I've raced my bike on 100 times. So it was fun, and that kind of ended my season. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna take a run at this running thing and just really like be serious about it.
Right.
But I also realized at that point, like, cycling knowledge isn't gonna get me there. Like I don't know what I don't know at this point. And so as far as training and doing anything, and at that point, my cyclist friends are gonna be pissed. But I like hung up my bike.
Did you?
Because I love riding my bike, but I can't do both. I'm not a good enough runner to do both.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So like it's like I would just go, like I'd do a run and then I would want to go ride my bike for 4 or 5 hours later because it's just fun and like pop wheelies and stuff. But I would just overtrain myself.
Right.
And so in the fall there, I hung up my bike, and that's when I started looking for a coach for running. And so that's when I got I talked to quite a few coaches around. Like I've had coaches
for cycling.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been kind of through the junior national program, like those kind of coaches and stuff, like pretty serious stuff, nutritionists. And so I knew that there's definitely a benefit, and I do well with it, and I respond well to it. And so I started looking around, and like I looked at a lot of coaches as back and forth, and there's a lot of great coaches, and there's a lot of them are like runners that turned into, great ultra runners that turned into good coaches, and some not good coaches that maybe just were good ultra runners.
Right.
Like, because I did know that from cycling. Like, doesn't matter. Like, if you're a good racer, doesn't necessarily mean you're a good coach.
Yeah. Right.
It's two different personas. So, interviewed. Like, we talked and had with several different coaches, and I ended up picking. You guys know Ty Draney. Like, I'd met him at Vaquero, but he announced it. I think I was like his first or second client.
Right.
Wow.
With it when he announced it, and kind of I knew his history with this high school teams.
Right. Yeah.
And so I knew the dude knew coach. I actually knew more about his high school coaching than I did about his actual running. Like I started going, I'm like, holy cow, Ty's done everything. And I still to this day, I'm like, holy cow, Ty, you did that race yesterday? And he's like, well, yeah. No,
he's been around forever.
Ty's like, I was 12.
Yeah. Not a big deal. I know. He's like texting me his track times when he was like 12 or whatever. He running 4:40s or something miles. So I got Ty as a coach the first part of that year, and so we laid out a schedule.
So that was beginning of 2015, right?
Yeah, going into 2015. So then I raced. My big A races were the Tusher Sky Race,
right?
Ace, the 93K, and then the Rut. Yeah, those were kind of my two big ones going into it. And then he had me do a tune-up race, the 25K, I think, in Antelope.
Yep.
And then
you did Timp Trail that year.
Yeah, and then Timp Trail as well.
Which came in first, right?
That was cool.
So
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. So over the course of 2 years, you go from 24th place to first place on a really legitimate
cut almost
course.
An hour off.
Yeah,
that's really impressive.
That was one of the coolest days. Like, so Ty and I had been training, and it was tough because Ty's sending me his training, and like it wasn't fun. Like the stuff he sent me, like it wasn't any fun, and it was cold, and so I couldn't even get up to like cool trails. I'm doing speed work and road work and like all these weird things that I have no idea. First of all, I have no idea what I had to. I drive him crazy. Text him like, what does that mean?
What's a power run?
Yeah, what's a power run? What's a fartlek? What's a stride? Like you got to translate this stuff for me, man. Like I have no idea. So like I felt like I spent like 3 or 4 months clear, even leading up to Antelope Island wasn't a race like I was like looking forward to. It was shorter. It's 25K.
Yep.
Antelope it's a runner's course, right? Like it's you can everything is runnable. Mm-hmm. It's fast. Not my strengths. That's kind of I knew enough that wasn't my jam. Like it needs to be technical. I need to slow those guys down.
Right.
Those high turnover
with a big hill or something like
guys.
that. Yeah. Totally. The short guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I got it. So I wasn't excited about that one. I ended up having a decent race there. I think I had fourth. Some really fast guys. But it was. I'd figured out at that point. That's when I knew Ty and I were going to really work together well. Is like when he called me up the night before the race, and he's like, because he's a great coach, but he's also a great, he's like a race day guy. Like he likes to race. He's competitive. He's getting older and kind of grumpier right now. Yeah, I'm throwing that out at you, Ty.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a little grumpier right now, but
finally somebody's not getting on our case about something. Well, he's got a big owie right now.
He does have a big owie. He keeps just inheriting bikes from me.
Yeah,
for those owies.
He'll get it fixed, and
he'll be back. He'll be back, but he's handling. I'm trying to give him more bad habits now while he's fixing that.
Well, he doesn't want to be that one-trick pony, right?
No. We're trying to teach him to fish. He's trying to teach him how to.
He was on a horse, wasn't he? Were you on the horse with him?
I wasn't on the horse with him. I'd like, he's got that in his roots. His dad has a dairy farm. Yep. He's got cowboy roots in there.
He does.
But yeah, I knew when Ty called me the night or 2 nights before that race and was like, "You need to attack. Run this pace to here, to this feed zone, then make your move here, and then you need to, write that aid station top." Yeah,
we got to work on that.
This is awesome.
Aid station. I know. You guys are killing. This is bad. I know it. You guys are the only ones that call me on it, because everybody else just looks at me funny and just continues on.
Like I said, I don't care. I don't have that problem. I'll call you out on that.
Please do. People get intimidated by my mustache. You guys aren't. Good job. That's okay.
I'm not. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm slightly attracted to it. I'm not going to lie.
It happens. It's kind of a Magnum PI kind of thing.
Yeah,
I dig it. These are my peeps. But yeah, he called me out and was like, "You need to attack here and make these moves here.
Right.
And, there you hold on until this climb and then you can unleash."
Right.
And I was like, all right, like this isn't just like a normal like coach. Like this is like, because I've had those where they send you the plans once a month, and like if you have questions, you text them or email them, and I never talk to him.
Right.
But when he like knew the course, he's like, "Oh yeah, I raced here this time. I won it here," and like I'm like, "Oh okay, hey, you know what you're talking about." And so then he let me loose, and his tactics worked perfect, and I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna work well together. So like that one still, but I still all the way leading up to that still was stuff that I didn't really want to do. Like it wasn't fun.
Yeah,
it was
the speed workouts.
The speed workouts, like learning how to run, like those kind of things. Like, because he literally was like teaching me how to run, like just run flats. Like we spent a ton of time on flats. So he wouldn't let me do climbs yet. And so,
I got that problem with him right now.
Yeah, he gets on that, which it's great. That's what he's had, and he's helped me a ton last year. So then Timp Marathon was kind of the first one, where it was like, all right, let's see what we've done. Let's cash some checks.
Well, you knew the course too at that point.
Yeah, I knew the course, and I know that course really well. I've ridden bikes there since I was 12 or 13. We helped cut those trails sometimes with weed whackers.
Yeah.
In the 90s. So I know that area really well, and I knew what was going to happen in that course and what I was going to think. So it was a good course for me to visualize and kind of think through more. So when I got out and went off, I had no idea. And it's good and bad. I don't know anybody in the run world. Like, it's tough. That was the hardest thing coming from cycling. I know everybody. I've been in it forever. We know everybody. It's like my family. Run world, I don't know anybody. No one. And so I don't know if you're fast or if you're not or what you're going to do. I'm like, if your name's not Killian, I guess I wouldn't recognize you.
Right.
I mean, I'm starting to get more, but it was basically for the first while, it was Killian and Luke.
Right.
They're the only guys I knew in the running world. So I just rolled up the line. I didn't know anybody was there, and I kind of went out. And
like, "What's up, suckers? I got a mustache. Watch out."
I don't know. Yeah, I just let her loose, and I was out front, and I was like, "Holy cow! I'm walking on guys. Right out of on the climbs, easy, like up off the pipeline stuff." And I was like, found out really quickly that like I could make time on guys on the climbs, and not overexert myself, and lay back on the run. So like by the time we hit the flat road going out of there, because there's probably 4 miles on that dirt road. Like after the first climb, in the first 10 miles, there's 4 miles of almost downhill.
Yeah, you can cruise.
Yeah, I had coming out of that to that road, I had a probably 2 or 3 minute lead.
Did you?
And it was like, I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go smart and not burn myself on that. I'm not gonna chase it, because I realized pretty quickly that I knew everything was going to happen on that back climb. Right. And going up Dry Canyon, I think, or what's that
going
big
up
climb?
to those falls.
Yeah, through those falls at the top. And, that's like an hour climb.
Yeah, it is.
And
that's
no matter what,
climb.
out of the Green Monster and all that stuff on the backside, brutal. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let those guys work together, because there was like we broke out, and there was maybe 3, 4, 5 guys kind of in the group working to get me. And those guys, they closed. It took them a couple miles to close the gap back down on me.
Right.
And so then I just kind of hung on the back, and those guys were motoring. They were roadie kind of marathon guys, and they were pretty quick. And so then I just, the rolly stuff, just attacked with them and just stayed with them. And then I made a move at that climb.
Right.
And that was like awesome.
Yeah.
Like when stuff works and like you can do that and like you have that, because I'm so used to like just playing catch up.
Right.
So to be able to be in control, that was awesome. And so I attacked over the top and had a big gap, and just I kind of cruised down the bottom, through all the way through the downhill and all that stuff. I came across the finish line. They didn't know that I was a run. Like, well, they didn't know I was a marathon runner. Like, because they had the half marathoner guys come. Like, there'd been 3 or 4 of them.
Oh,
and like,
I see.
They handed me a medal, and like I sat down, and they're like, "Hey, wait, no, are you in the marathon?"
Did you win?
I was like, yeah, I think so. Like brought me over to the thing on the grass. I'm like, oh, cool. Well, thanks, guys. Like, it was like a lot of fanfare. Right? I was like, all right, cool. Like, right on, guys. So yeah, we sat down, and it was awesome though. Like, that was that added a lot of confidence to me. So going into that, and then going into, so that was leading into.
So after that one, you did El Ascensor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that was the Luke clinic.
you got spanked by Luke.
It was just a clinic. Like, Luke just stayed. I stared at that man's calves the whole time, just like right here, because it's so steep. And he just, I just got on his butt, and then we had one of Ty's high school kids right with us, and we were motoring.
Yeah, you had to. You can't let those kids beat you.
No, it was Luke and I had the old man game going a little bit, but Luke, he's like tick 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 tick, these little tiny
little bumblebee steps.
Yeah, and I'm not that. I have learned that's. I got to use my cycling muscles. I got to use my butt. That's how, I spent 20 years in cycling. Those muscles that's my jam right there. Right. So I moved to like the hike, like a power hike. So I was like taking like 1 step to 3 of Luke's.
Right.
Just power hiking along and trying to stay close. Then my shoelace came untied, and Luke attacked me then. Just saying. Throwing that out there.
Dirty.
Yeah.
Dirty
Dropped bombs
tactics.
on me, and then it was across the top. He just, Luke and that technical stuff's stupid. So yeah, I did that one. It was awesome.
Then you did Vaquero after that.
Yeah, well, I did Tusher the week before.
Oh, so that result's not showing up.
Yeah,
what's going on there?
That was why. So that was like my A race. Like that was one I was working on. I love the Tushers. One of my favorite mountain ranges.
93K.
Yeah, 93K. Hey, going for it. Never ran that far.
Right.
No,
that's true. That's a big step up from 50K to
it was
almost
gnarly.
100K.
And that's a gnarly one. So I just rolled. I felt good. I felt prepared going into it.
Right.
We did a lot of specific work. I actually spent some time down on running that course.
Did you?
It was awesome. I loved that area. Again, had no idea, but I was running kind of in the front group.
Right.
I run that top 10 group. It was a blast. I actually, we got lost a little bit. I had to help. That's where I first met my teammate, Dom Layfield.
Okay.
He was lost.
Right.
Didn't find him. Got him back on course again, and we climbed one of the first big peaks together, and then ran with another good friend of mine, Jason Eichhorst. And I felt really, really good until Copper Top, which is an out and back. If anybody remembers that one, it was. I'd gotten a little behind on my nutrition, a little behind on my hydration, and then the altitude.
Right.
And I got to the top of there and just was like slowly, and I sat on the top there on the peak, and I think it was Matt Van Horn and his brother, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they were up there with their drones and their cameras and all that stuff, and like I just sat down on the top next to Matt's thing and like almost puked in Matt's camera bag.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and actually that's probably the most famous thing I have in running is Matt took a really cool picture of me on the top right after I puked almost in his bag. On the top of that thing, just buried my head because I had my little like ski pole things and trekking poles, and I couldn't. I would go 2 steps, puke. 2 steps, puke. 2 steps, puke. Like,
so do you think that was because you got behind a little bit on your nutrition, or was it altitude? Or
I think
like
a little
both?
bit. I think a little bit of both, because I'm like, altitude's never really affected me. I've raced in the Tushers before at a high altitude.
True, they got that crusher in the Tusher.
Yeah,
right?
that's one of my favorite races. I've done that a bunch, and so like altitude's not ever really affected me that way. But I do think it had I got behind, and
Right.
it just amplified things.
Okay.
And it was, but I've never had anything where I was like 2 steps puke, and it was a downhill, like super runnable mine grade road
Right.
on the out and back, and like I couldn't, like there were times like I was worried I'd fallen off the trail, like
Oh
I had
my
to
goodness.
like very like to the point where word got down to DJ down at the aid station. Aid
Yeah.
station.
Nice.
See?
There we go.
I had to think-
Educational.
I had
Yeah.
to think on that one, and they were like, "Don't let him through. Don't let him back out. Like he's in a bad way. Like don't." And I was done.
Okay.
I was capped. So I was
Right.
pretty bummed.
So that's why it's not showing up on your results.
Yeah,
Had
so
a
I
little
did DNF. It's bummed. I don't love that. I don't
Yeah.
love a DNF. And it was bummed. It was my A race.
Right.
I kind of feel like I did all this work for it that wasn't fun. Like
Right.
I'm like, and I got nothing to show for it. And I kind of was whiny and sad hearted. And Ty this basically called me and said, step up, Buttercup.
Right.
I'll get you a spot at Vaquero. Come up.
Yep.
So it was like 5 days later.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and I had no idea what fitness was, but it was fun. That Vaquero was really fun. Josh Arthur was there, and
Right.
and Ashley Erba had kind of come in town. It was fun. It was the first year Luke wasn't there.
Right.
So
Well, Luke wasn't racing. Luke was there supporting because I think he was doing the he had the FKT attempt with Cody. Like he was leaving like the next day
Yeah.
with Cody Lynn, the one that they got smoked out, I think, in the Sierras.
Right. Oh,
because
yeah,
of the
that's
wildfires.
Yeah.
So he was there. I don't know. It was it was good, and I felt though a little bit of pressure from
Right.
I wanted to redeem myself, and I was pissed off. But then I also had Luke and Ty there, like which those guys are like my mentors.
Right.
It's like I want them. They're guys that I kind of look to. That they have families, they have jobs, they have and they're great runners, and so I look to those guys, and they're both yelling at me and cheering, and like. Ty threatened me with my life to not to make a split at the end at the turnaround. He's like, you have to. I can't remember. It was like 2:12 or something. He said he wanted me behind. He wanted me not to make it before the people started.
Yeah, you want to get there before the 25K.
Yeah, he's like
start.
he wanted me to he actually wanted me to be behind it. He says you need to save it.
Right.
He says you need to. I saw what you did last year. You were fast in the front and then in the back. He says you need to chill out.
Eat some pumpkin pie.
Yeah, like be slow on that first half and save it for the back half, then
Right.
attack. I didn't at all. I went off with Josh
Right.
Arthur, who was really fast ultra guy, and we went off the front.
Right.
And we were motoring. I think Josh might have been close to the turnaround record of Luke's. And I came in just a couple minutes after him, and I honestly was scared. I saw Ty's daughters up on the trail, and I'm like, "Oh, don't tell your dad." And honestly, I kind of tried to sneak in, and we made it when we were like 5 or 6 minutes before the guys started, and so Ty and Luke are standing right there at the turnaround, and I'm like, I came running. I'm like, I didn't mean to. I promise. I feel good. I didn't burn anything. I wasn't going too hard. I promise. I feel just fine. And Luke just grabs me and just go get him, like yelling at me and like handing stuff at me and like, yeah, I was kind of felt a lot of pressure, but it was cool. Those guys yelling and cheering, and so then I took off after Josh, and Josh he was running strong,
Right.
And
It
so
was 5 hours.
Yep.
yeah, he was nuking, and so I hustled after him. I felt really good. I think the last aid station, there's a big steep climb.
Yeah, that thing's a
Did I
grind.
say aid station?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you did say aid
Yes.
station. Yeah.
Awesome. Now I'm like second guessing everything I say. Thanks, guys. The last aid station has a 1 mile climb and then like a 3 mile downhill into.
Yeah. This the zigzag. What's it called?
Balls.
Balls.
Well, so
Balls.
you've got after the last aid station, it's
yeah.
like
balls,
that
the
balls,
switchbacks, and
and then it's 3 or 4 miles of downhill.
Yeah,
Just bomber
and
and it's
that's
downhill.
steep
downhill.
and it's
Yeah.
fast. And so I kind of laid I knew I was doing pretty good, and Josh had taken off.
Yeah.
And so I probably sat too long in the feed zone, and Ashley caught
did
me.
it again.
Did it again.
Mhm.
You did that on purpose.
Yeah, you did.
I know. Duh. But then I got Ashley just dump trucked me
Did
on the
she?
downhill.
Uh-oh.
Holy cow. That little girl.
Yeah.
She's like 4 feet tall, and she
Yeah.
was just motoring, chatty, and I'm like, nice, thanks, Ashley.
thanks.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that was a great race. Sorry, long lead
all
into
right.
that
Oh,
one.
that's good.
All right, so you do that, come in third. The next is a big race up in Montana,
Rut.
the Rut,
Yeah.
and that's no joke.
Rut is
Right?
legit.
It's pretty legit.
That thing is awesome. That was like my first real taste of like sky running and the like field. All the Europeans are there, all the Americans and the Montanans. Like those guys come strong.
Yeah, so you're pretty much primed at that point, right? Because you've had Ty coaching you at that point for 9 months.
That
right?
was the A race. I mean, we were prepping for Rut last year. Yeah, that was it.
So you get to the Rut. So what was what was your experience at the Rut?
Leading into it was great. Exciting. I love a big race. Love that kind of that atmosphere.
Right.
The atmosphere is super fun. My whole family was there. I mean, that's a big thing for me, is like to have my wife and my kids and all that there with me for the race. It was great fun with the kids. And then the start and stuff, and like ran with Luke a bit in a couple days. He kind of gave me, because he's done really well there. Ran with a couple other friends that I'd met over the season.
Right.
So I felt good. I felt like I knew a couple people at the start line, not just stand in the dark in the corner by myself.
Right.
So started the second line. Again, my confidence, real high.
Yeah.
Expectations, real high. Smarts, not so much. Started second line, right. Behind in the lead wave, because they do like 3 waves there, and right out, and getting poked in the face with the trekking poles from the Euros, like right out of the gun. I'm like, holy cow, like poking you in the dark.
So you're having flashbacks to your first open water swim at that point.
Yeah,
right?
I'm getting slapped. Yeah, I'm getting a little hyperventilate. Yeah. Like it's dark. I can't see where I'm at. I'm a little worried.
Turn around, start hiking backwards.
Yeah,
exactly. That's where I'm at. Like I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, no, I'm good. I'm really good now. So I'm motoring along, and kind of finally thins out of the climb, and then the first downhill we're hauling down, and I think I was with Luke, and so we were like 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere right in there. Like there was like 3 of us just rolling with Luke, and we were hauling down one of those service roads, and I roll my ankle and go down so hard at like full bore. We were running hard to the point where like Luke runs with, like, he still likes to start with his headphones in, and like he still had those in, and he like stopped and turned around. I'm like, whoa!
You're yelling
it was like,
so much.
I wasn't even yelling. It was just like a commotion. Like it was like slam, like wham.
It's like a moose up in the trees.
It's like
type of commotion.
run.
And he just turned like, whoa! He's like, holy cow, are you okay? And I was like, jumped up and brushed myself off, and I was like, oh, yeah, I think
Checking
so.
to see if your teeth are there.
Yeah, I'm like, I tore my vest, I tore my shorts. It was a mess. I'm like 4 miles into it. It's not even dark. It's not even light. I have my headlights still on.
Right.
And so I rolled my ankle pretty bad. Like it pop.
Oh no.
It was pretty bad. Like, so I just toughed it out. Like, was stupid. And I found, so I just kept running, and like once the adrenaline finally wore off, and then like there's some flowy sections of like banked mountain bike turns.
Oh yeah.
And I could tell every time I went to bank on that on the outside of the ankle, it was like shooting pain. I was like, oh man. Like, so I was still way over my head. Like I was still way farther up in that race than I should have been.
Sure. Well, you finished 27th.
Yeah.
Overall, which is really good.
Yeah.
Considering that field, right?
Yeah, that
That's
field.
Awesome.
And the scree, like, I ran almost 30 miles on a pretty badly blown up ankle.
Right.
Oh, and so I was pretty tickled with it.
Yeah.
The finish, like, again, it was one of those, it was like the first temp and first thing, like I saw glimpses of what I could do.
Right.
With it. And so
that was your last race of 2015. And then so you fast forward to 2016. So we're in 2016. So during that fall winter period where you're not racing, you're talking to Ty, you're kind of going over what you've done that year.
Yeah.
You get to 2016, so you get your goals for 2016. So what's going on for 2016 then?
We spent all fall kind of going back and forth, trying to figure out. I did have one more race. That one, it's not on the ultra sign up. I had a vacation race.
It doesn't count then if it's not an ultra sign up.
Yeah, my wife hates it, but I can't go on a vacation. Like,
do a little 5K somewhere.
Yeah, so I raced the Xterra Hawaii Trail Championships or something like that. Super competitive. Before we were there for a wedding.
Max King is over there.
It was a bunch of really fast dudes, and I got really lost, but I ended up winning. And run and made a sprint out, so that was pretty cool, and that was
that's awesome.
Good way to close the year.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I should have. It's just been done there. My ankle felt pretty good, so I was pumped. But all through the fall, we had Ty and I were going back and forth on kind of what to do, because the natural step is like I'm learning with all the runners and all that stuff. Like, oh, when are you going to do 100? When are you going to do 100?
Yeah,
Like,
see,
kinda
Aric and I
like,
talked about that earlier. We're like, he hasn't gone up to the big distance yet.
I'm
Hopefully-
going to any of the, I haven't done a 50 miler.
Right. And we were going to ask you, is that going to be the next evolution in your running? Do you see yourself gravitating to that, or are you going to stay with that? I don't want to say shorter, but the 25K up to
50K.
the 50K distance.
Yeah.
Is that your sweet spot, do you think?
I think it's kind of my sweet spot, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I really feel like sky running races go to my strength. Lots
Okay.
of climbing, lots of technicality.
Right.
They slow down those guys who can turn over
Blaze.
fast.
Right.
Yeah, right. There's snow and rocks, and
Right.
it slows them down. So I kind of was leaning to it, and I had fun, and I saw that taste, right?
Okay.
The sky run, like I had that taste of what could be good. And so Ty and I went back and forth because he talked. He said, we could do the 100-mile thing. Like,
Right.
He says you're doing fine. Like you'd be able to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And we went back and forth, and I really just thought, I would like to give it a go at Skyrun.
Okay.
Like I think I like it. I have fun at those, and I think I can be competitive.
Right. So that was your goal for 2016, was the kind
Skyrun
of
series,
focus
U.S.
on
Skyrun
that?
series.
Okay.
Because you did the Red Mountain 30K in
Right.
southern Utah. And
Yep.
That's pretty runnable, though, right?
Yeah,
It's not a
it's super
technical,
runnable, yeah.
And you took first there.
Yeah, I was able to win there. It was fun. Actually raced with that kid that just won Speedgoat.
Yeah.
He was ghost running on that course.
Was he?
Oh,
Yeah, he ran with Andrew Napick, and I both were racing that race. Andrew was racing the 50K, and I was racing the 30K, and we all started the same. And then that kid.
Yeah. He's fast, isn't he?
Holy cow. Yeah, way fast. One of those guys that runs,
Right.
that can really run. But
He doesn't know any better.
yeah,
Right.
and he showed up at Speedgoat. He was amazing, but that's a whole other story. So I showed up there, kind of another vacation race, and that one was more planned. But
Right.
yeah, my whole family was there. It was super fun to do well there, and because I was an okay cyclist. Like
Right.
I've won age groups and I've won overalls and age group. I've never won outright the fastest guy in the race.
Right.
That's never been me. Hey, I've been even as a pro, I'm a mid-pack regional pro.
Right.
That's the best I could be. And so to win an overall in a race was
Right.
like, holy cow. Like it was pretty cool. Like
Is
I'm
it?
not gonna lie. Like it was pretty freaking awesome.
We'll take your word for
Yeah,
it.
we're solid mid Packers, to be honest.
It's cool.
So,
So
and you did the Scout Mountain race this year, which is Luke's race.
Yep.
And you did the 35K.
yep.
So you took first in 3:17,
Which is fast.
which is interesting because the year before, your coach set the course record at 3:15. So 2 minutes. I mean, how did that ban? I mean, that's got to be.
I mean, that was nice of you not to break his record.
yeah, it was
right?
on purpose, right? You just wanted to make sure you stayed.
Whatever. I've had 3:15 since the moment we figured out what the plan was going to be. I've had 3:15 circled on my calendar.
It
like
was
I knew
a
his
hot
time.
year. That's
I knew
what it
his
was.
splits. I knew. I knew all of it. And then I got Luke chiming in, like he's sending me texts. You got to beat Ty's time. You
Yeah,
got to
you can't let
beat
that happen.
You got to take his time. All that
Yeah.
stuff. And so, yeah. Since we signed up for Scout, Scout was kind of part of the program, kind
Right.
of prep for Broken Arrow. But so Scout was. That was a tough race. You guys were there, right?
Yeah,
you
we
guys
were
in you guys were doing the 60K.
We did
Yeah.
60K. Yep.
The heat.
The
man.
heat was
Whoa.
brutal.
That was pretty
Yeah,
rough.
that was tough. That one race was really good because for first time, like my MO has always been racing is like go hard, hold on.
Right.
Like I just go hard out of the gut, and then it's just like I crawl across the line to
Right.
hold on, and it's everything I've got. This one, Ty again, threatening me with my life.
Yeah.
Listen, do not go hard until out of Scout.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
after Scout. Like you cannot make a move until
Right.
here. And so that one I was really, really happy with because I was patient.
Good.
And like I had a plan, and the heat was part of it because it was scary. That heat was so, and we started at 11.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
did.
And it was brutal. Like, and so I felt good. Like I probably over the top of Scout. I was still in like maybe 7th, 8th.
Yeah.
Like I was pretty far back. And that kid, the kid that went off the front, he went off the front and he was way out. And so, and even going into the last feed zone, I came in
Aid station.
aid station.
We'll let it slide.
Whatever the aid station. What's that one called down in the trees, dark where
That's
Rock
where Rock
was?
was. That's all.
Yeah.
I just remember Rock and Carl with
Carl.
the pierogies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
They-
loaded those.
They
Yeah, I
put
did.
me into shock. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding with the cold water.
Oh yeah, Rock,
was like-
Rock just about drowned me with that.
They were
that
just
sponge.
kept coming, and I was talking to Luke, and he just kept pouring it. And I'm like, finally, I had like, guys,
You're getting waterboarded.
stop! Like I am seriously like full shaking
Yeah.
coming in there. It's in the shade.
Yeah.
And that point, I was 10 minutes off the lead. I was in 4th, came in with third place, and I was 4 minutes off a second and 10 minutes off the back.
Holy cow.
There's not that many people. It's not that much distance going out, right? Like maybe 5 miles.
Yeah, 5 miles
that.
to the finish.
Having one good climb, but then you had the Nordic Center.
Yeah.
And Ty, again, was another one. He was like, the Nordic is brutal.
It is. That surprised me.
Brutal. Open. It's cut down. It's not even really trail.
Nope.
And so I kind of was just, I'd been watching. To be fair, I was into that feed zone 90 seconds ahead of course record time.
Right.
And I had the splits, again, circled.
Knew what was going on.
I was on it. I was on there. But it was brutal going out. And those guys, they put time on me, even in the Nordic Center. Like, I was still fourth, and I just kind of kept putting my head down. And I had to gamble, and I pounded all the liquids I had at the bottom of the Nordic Center.
Oh.
Right before the climb.
Because that's 800 feet of climbing at the Nordic Center.
And I had not a great idea of how much kind of zigzagging was going there.
Yeah, that thing's crazy, right?
I was it was a gamble, and I was like, you know what? rather than milk it out towards the end and just like sip along and be partially dehydrated all the time,
right.
like, I'm going to try and just pound it now and hope it's going to carry me over the top.
Right.
Front load and go for broke.
Yeah, so I front loaded it, and then it was, we weren't faster in Nordic Center. I mean, we were like power hike. It was,
right.
And all of a sudden kind of came around, there was third.
Yeah.
And we were all in a bad place. Like everybody's just so power hike past him, give like a grunt nod. And these guys were all young kids, like really fast young kids. And then come around and like they're second place, like 2 switchbacks later. Like, and I'm like, holy cow, there is. Okay, cool. Like, so I didn't pass. And then I pulled kind of a little cyclist move on, and a kid named Aric Fitzgerald. He's a really good kid out of Boise. Yeah, great, fast, really fast. I got around him, kind of grunted at each other, and then I forced myself to run.
Yeah.
Right when he saw, like, as soon as I got around him, and just like ran like 10 feet around the corner. But I was like, you just gotta let him see it. Just gotta crush it a little bit, just so he may. And it worked. And I was like, oh, awesome. So then I'm like, all right, I'm in second place.
Right.
And then I have my number circled. I have that 315 number of ties, but I'm like, what good does that do if I'm second place and the other guy's going to beat it by 10 minutes? Like, that doesn't help. So, so I kind of just kept pounding, and I got over the top into the spring, right before that spring, and like 2 miles to go, and I ate it hard.
Oh yeah.
Tripped, fell, came crashing to a halt at the right before the mud at the spring.
Right.
And shook myself off, scared to death, right? At that point, I know those guys are close. Like, I'm running for my life at this point. I know what's there. I'm burning it down the pavement, and I come around the finish line, and like, Luke's like, you won. I'm like,
so what happened to the first?
So he showed up, like, we'd been in a couple, I don't know, like, we'd been in like 10 or 15 minutes, and he comes in, and I'm like, hey man, what happened? I was in a bad place.
He's like off the side. Oh.
He got off course somewhere before Nordic and wandered around and hitchhiked from the Nordic Center back.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard about that.
That off course section. You know, you're kind of like
where
going
that
cross
nasty
country.
Downhill and stuff. Like, he just wandered off, and it was
what?
I heard about that.
And it wasn't. He admitted, he was like, it wasn't anything to do with like the course marking.
Yeah,
stuff.
because they're pretty good there.
Well, and to be fair, this kid took off with like, he didn't have a water bottle even at the start. Like, Luke kept asking him, like, you sure you don't want to take water? And like, and I think he picked up one at one of the aid stations on the front side.
Right.
But he had like one little bottle with him. But yeah, he was in a bad place. That kid was I did feel bad for that, but I'll take it. But yeah, so that's how I came in a solid like less than 2 minutes behind.
Well, that's awesome.
His record.
So after Scout Mountain, so you're feeling pretty good, and then you got your first official sky race, right, of 2016 out at Lake Tahoe, California.
Yeah, up
so
at
you get
Squaw
there.
Valley, Broken Arrow.
Yeah. So quickly tell us about that.
That race was as intimidating as any race I've been in.
Like rut type of intimidation?
More so, even. I think they said that had the strongest field in a sky run race on the U.S. soil ever.
Really?
With the depth of field that was in there. I mean, we didn't have the Euros, but we had every good American. Max King,
Alex Nichols,
scared to death. Max, all the Nike guys, Tim Tollefson, Josh Arthur, Cody Lind.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was.
So all the really fast guys.
It was heavy. Yeah, it was a heavy group. So I was. no idea on the course, no idea. Like,
so you didn't get a chance to get out there and pre-run it.
No, and it was covered in snow.
That's right.
And then it changed the night before because
the weather was kind of bad, right?
Weather actually turned out good. It was just cool, and they just had so much late season snow that it just never went away.
Right.
And it changed the course. Like they ended up having to change it the night before.
Right.
And that was pretty tough. But Broken Arrow was great. It was cool because like rolling in the lead group with those guys, like looking around and like I finally know these guys. Their names that I know. Running with Dakota, running with Max, running Tim Tollefson, and like all those guys are just like heavies. Awesome.
So you get into this race, and so are you feeling like you can kind of hang with these guys a little bit now?
Again, I have no problems with confidence.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of know now what your ability is compared to like
2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's one of those things like
you're starting to get it figured out now, right? You're no longer using cycling tactics.
Yeah.
Now you're kind of using run tactics. With the help of Luke and just your experience.
Yeah. I'm learning slowly. I'm not the brightest person. I bang my head against.
Goes a long way, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence, and that's one thing I love about having Ty around is that Ty's not scared to say, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. And so I have those kind of, hey, no kidding talks with Ty. I'm like, here's what I'm thinking I can do. Do you know my fitness better than I do?
Right.
What can I, do you think so? And so he keeps me in line on those kind of things. So I thought I could hang with those guys. And I was hanging early with them.
Right.
I missed it was competitive enough. It was actually really cycling, right? Like there was some moves that were made. Dakota was on a mission.
Well, yeah,
he was he wanted that one, and
right.
so there were some moves. I didn't make a split on the group,
right?
Going around one of the first loops, and so I was kind of fading in that latter half of the back 10,
right?
And then it was good. There's definitely some course marking, like not course marking issue. They actually, I think it was overmarked kind of thing.
Okay.
Lots of mark, but the trails would come close to each other, and you'd go.
Kind of have to think a minute, maybe.
And you'd go directional, like there were sections that you'd go on the same trail one way and then go back the other way and then back like 3 or 4 times. So it's like you'd get to a section. All the issues with the trail happened within like 200 square feet,
right?
Because there was a bunch of trails that came right there, and that was all the issues happened right there.
Okay.
But yeah, so Broken Arrow was great. I felt really good, and I felt like I fueled well and came through it. I fell apart the last 5K.
Okay. Was that like, so why did you fall apart? I mean,
part of it, I think I wasn't as diligent on my fueling as I should have been. And then part of it was a little bit of mental with the course issues.
Okay.
And it was just, I think, guys had gotten through on the course that weren't, there were some, and nobody, I don't believe anybody cut the course purposely.
Right.
Especially out of the groups we were in, that top 20 group was everybody's, but it was just confusing. And there were guys that, like, when it finally got open enough, they were in front of me. I was like, it was a downer. Like, I was racing a great race, and then, like, all of a sudden there's 4 dudes in front of me that I'm like,
where'd you guys
go from, like, 10th to, like, 14th. I'm like, well, how did that happen?
Right.
And it's pretty bummer. And so it downed me, and there was just some really steep climbs that were service road that weren't exciting to me. Like, again, my mental, like, being entertained, my ADD is like, it's a downfall of me. Like, if it's not fun and it's not like interesting, I'm like, it's something we'd already been on. It was a big service road, power hike, steep downhill. And I was like, you're
checking out.
Interest level was
I checked out, and I lost a bunch of places there.
Gotcha.
So 16th, not what I was shooting for, but again, got a taste.
Sure. Well, and you look at it. I mean, I'm looking at it. A couple years of running,
yeah.
Right? You never had a background of running. You did have the competitive cycling, which we've talked in the past. That helps. But when you look at, like, pulling up the results for the Broken Arrow Sky Race and seeing, say you're 16th, but see who's ahead of you in 16th.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, these guys have been doing it their whole life. Some of them you'd call a professional runner.
Yeah, like Max King, he was one of the best steeplechasers in the U.S.
Olympian. I mean, that dude wins everything.
Yeah, he's like the unicorn of ultra runners.
Yeah.
Alec Nichols and Dakotas, and I mean, so when you put it in perspective, though, I mean, from 2 years where you started to embarrassing your family on a backstroke, to a place like this, that's got to be, even though you're competitive and confident, still got to be super rewarding to almost like, maybe I'm just cracking this nut.
sometimes, again, I get in my own head a little. My wife's awesome. She's been there and been my support for racing since we married 13 years. Like she's been to all the races. So she knows my mental state, and like she lets me be pissy and sulky for just a little bit. And then finally, like, listen, check it back. Look, let's have a little reality check of what's going on.
Right.
You're 35 years old. You have a full-time desk type job with a wife and kids. You've been at this for 2 years. Literally 2 years. You were learning to run this spring.
Right.
So let's tone it back a little bit.
That perspective needs to be.
Yeah. So she's good at that. She lets me, have a little pity party every once in a while, and then is like, enough.
Yeah.
I'm tired of your whining.
Well, if she needs some help with that, she can just call us up.
Yeah, if you guys, sometimes it takes a village.
Yeah.
It does.
We'll help you get through those low spots.
We're good at checking.
Yeah.
Checking
That's good for it.
We'll bring the bus and the candy up. And
I like it. I dig. Yeah. It'll be good.
All right. So you got 2 more races this year, right?
3 more races.
So 2 more according to Ultra Sign Up.
And that's all we go by because
I
that's the
know.
Bible.
Aspen, they're too cool. The Power-Stache won't put it on.
Oh, they're like an
ultrasound.
active.
They have their own Aspen site that you have to go in, so then you can't. It
I hate
sucks.
that.
But yeah, so I have Power-Stache in a couple weeks.
That's a big race, right?
Big race, Continental Championships.
Is that 50K?
Yep, Sky Race, kind of all the same. Everything's Sky Race,
Okay.
so 50 to 55K.
So that you said that's in 2 weeks?
Or it's like it's the same as Vaquero Loco, which makes me sad.
Basically first Saturday of
Yeah,
August.
like the 6th or 7th that weekend.
So is that another big field? Deep
Yeah,
field?
again, I can't tell who's there because they're not on Ultra Sign Up. Just
You
saying.
can't do your homework.
Yeah, I
You
can't really
can't do
do
your
my
stalking.
homework right there and stalking, but
You
Cody
assume.
Lind will be there,
Okay.
which Cody's a great kid, and that kid's on fire.
Right.
I think all those heavy, I think Ricky will probably be there. He's an
fast.
Aspen guy, and he's running fast again. Josh Arthur probably won't. I think he told me in text. I ran with him last week.
Right.
So he's not going to be there, which that's good for me.
Right.
But I suspect it's a Colorado competitive field.
Right. Okay.
So it'll be tough.
All right. Then after that, you go down to Texas.
El Paso to
El
Franklin
Paso.
Mountain.
What's up with that?
That
Have
happens.
vacation.
Just El Paso and second week in September is
going on there,
really, what we want to do.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a place you could go, right?
No. I mean, I'm all for traveling with my family, and that's like our jam. But I'm like, let's not. Probably, you don't need to come to El Paso to the border, of Mexico. That one was kind of a little bit of a fluke deal because I didn't get into rut because it filled up in like
Fast.
8 hours.
Yeah.
And so that rut is the week before,
Right.
on Labor Day. So, and Franklin Mountain I was able to get in. Obviously.
So what's the draw of Franklin Mountain? I'm
Sky Race
serious.
Series.
It's part of the.
So my goal. So big dumb.
How is that a sky race? What? How can that be? It's in El Paso.
So I guess big mountains. So they
got
have
some big mountains
they
in El
have
Paso.
Franklin Mountain's like 7,200 feet tall.
It is.
This race has 8 to 10,000 feet of climbing.
Right on.
It's going to be rowdy, like desert,
Yeah.
like rowdiness. So
Okay.
So I'm actually I'm pretty excited about that.
Cool.
But I mean, the draw of it was honestly my big dumb goals were I wanted to contend for the overall in the Sky Running series.
I see.
Franklin Mountain.
Yeah.
I thought that might be a good chance for me to garner points.
Yeah.
Rather than against a rut field.
Right.
Honestly.
Okay.
I mean, they'll be great fast guys, but I don't think it'll be quite the depth.
Yeah.
Well, you might be surprised.
Yeah, I'm sure of it, especially if I'm driving to El Paso for 14 hours.
That'll be sweet.
Yeah, you're gonna be fresh.
Yeah, really fresh.
So after Franklin, then Flagstaff.
That's a big one.
Flag's going to be a big
there.
Yeah, it'll be a deep field, and that's a championship
Right.
for U.S. Skyrun. So they get 20% more points for being there. So that'll be a big deal. That one is again up in the air. My wife is due the 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So it's this is our 4th child, and she's a trooper. She's like, whatever, you just go, I'll be fine.
Right.
I'm like, no, that's a trap.
Yeah.
No.
I've done this before.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, she's a trooper, and she would, but I'm like, I don't think. And then she's like, well, I'm planning on going. I'm like, I don't know. You're gonna end up having that thing in like
at
the Navajo Hogan in
Yeah.
between here and Flagstaff or
Exactly.
something. Like, I'm like, I don't know, hon. Like, not that comfortable. We'll see. So. No, but yeah, so that's my schedule for right now.
Wow. Well, I think you've come a long way in the last 2 years, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's
less
really
spandex,
amazing.
more short shorts.
Yeah, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a plus.
Yeah,
Mhm.
doesn't matter how good and fit you are, spandex just never looks good.
No, it looks weird.
It's just
It
weird.
look like a superhero suit all the time.
Yeah.
I wish I wouldn't have worn mine today. Now.
Right. It's cool though. Your cape looks good, bud.
Well, that's a stout year. I mean, the distance wise, I mean, you're dialing that in for sure. You're figuring it out, I guess.
Yeah.
You got a
Yeah.
great coach.
I think
He's
so.
done it all.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Ty's awesome about it and kind of walking me through it. So he's patient with me. I'm
Yeah.
kind of a pain in the butt. So
earning his money. is
yes,
what
he
it
Right,
is.
he
is.
is.
Yes, he is. So yeah, it's been a wild year so far, and I got it also been. Ty's been great, and then PC Run Co. and Canice.
Yeah.
Canice has helped. He's helped me out a ton with the PC Run Co. team, but also like last year when he opened the shop, my shoe issues. I just would stare at people and like trying I wanted new shoes. I didn't know what to get, and
So what are you running now?
The Salmon wings, the new
Okay.
ones, the new S-Lab wings.
So you're fast enough you can run
Wear
those
those,
things.
pull that off.
Yeah, that shoe's awesome. Like it's not maximal. It's not a minimal shoe. Like
Right.
I can't do the Sense thing. Like
Yeah.
it's not my jam. But
Hits a
those
sweet
wings
spot.
I've loved them. So
Right.
and they hold up. I'm really hard on shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I went through 6 pairs of Speed Goats. That's how Canice and I got really close.
You were in here all the time.
I was tearing apart Speed Goats,
Were ya?
ripping midsoles, ripping uppers. I'm brutal like that way. So
So what's your go-to nutrition strategy now?
Scratch Labs for the hydration.
Yeah, I like
Which-
that stuff.
That stuff's really good. It's easy on my stomach.
Yeah, it is, right?
That was been a hard transition from cycling to this. It's just the jostling and when and where. Like in a bike race, I would always feed right at the top of a climb going into a downhill.
Right.
Because I was comfortable in downhill and I would just digest through there.
Right.
That doesn't work on running.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's just like a blender.
opposite,
Blah,
right?
blah, blah. So my strategy has changed. This stuff's been really good on my stomach.
Right.
That's been a big key this year, I think, is dialing that in.
So where are you getting your calories from then?
Honey Stinger waffles.
Okay,
has
so
kind of been
those
my
work
thing.
for you? Those are pretty good.
Those work pretty good. Although part of my issues, I think, with Broken Arrow was I wasn't getting them quick enough
Okay.
and couldn't get. It was just dry. It wasn't. I
Right.
wasn't really.
It was a
turning
tough on
point
hot days and warm days.
Yeah, so I've been dealing with their gels a little bit, just like
Okay.
the pure honey ones,
Right.
like the really basic. Like I, for years, was on Goo as a cyclist, and
Right.
like Goo Rocktanes, they work great, but it's like a one-hit wonder. It tanks my stomach.
Yeah.
Like immediately, like I carry one always in my race vest,
Right.
and I know like
It's there.
if it goes down, it will work.
Yeah.
But I won't be able to eat anything after.
Okay.
So right now that's what I've been testing around with my long runs right now, and those the Honey Stinger, just honey gels. Like
Right.
I've been pretty good. Like I haven't
Okay.
had blown up stomach at all. So
Right on.
so that's kind of my jam for right now, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I think that we've covered just about everything we wanted to cover for today.
For now, I mean,
Right?
our
I
big
mean-
thing is getting people back on after
Yeah.
these endeavors. So that's kind of the next one.
Ooh.
It is. Maybe after you get done with Flagstaff,
Yeah.
we'll get you back on.
Post-season.
Right? And we'll talk about that again. So, again, thanks for coming
Hey, thank you
in
guys.
today and
Thanks for
talking
having
to
me.
us. And we want to wish you the best of luck at Franklin and Flagstaff.
Awesome.
And
Well,
good luck with the next baby too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 4 kids. It's my first boy, so I'm a little scared.
Oh,
Yeah, I
nice.
got 3 girls, so
Oh, they're nothing but trouble, those boys.
I know it's a lot of pressure
I've
on
got
me.
one.
I got to have the hard conversations now. Like,
Yeah.
Start growing a mustache at 3. You gotta figure out how to work that in.
Yeah, I got to help him how to shave that and kind of trim it up so it doesn't get unruly.
Keep it clean.
That's right.
So yeah,
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming down to Park City Run Company and joining us today. And like Joel said, good luck with the Sky Series.
thank you guys.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you for listening to the Trail Manners Podcast. We'd like to thank Brian Tolbert for joining us today. We'd also like to encourage everybody to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Trail Manners, or swing by the website at trailmanners.com. Don't forget to share us with your friends. Share us on social media. Help spread the word of Trail Manners Podcast. We'd also encourage you all to stop by our store page for some gear, or hit us up on our contact page and let us know what you want to see, who you want to hear, or if you would like to be on our show. So until next time, this is Aric Manning with Joel Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.